Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Clutch Trucker channel. Rusty didn't do the opening for me. He's inside. He's comfortably sleeping with my wife in the bed in there. I'm out here in the pole barn, still trying to get some things finalized. If you notice up on the wall behind me, you can see, I don't know if I can, I can't zoom in on this side. But yeah, I've already taken down some of the vinyl stuff off of that upper bunk because I'm going to try to get it down. That looks like it's going to be a challenge. That's kind of what I'm trying to figure out tonight, is how in the heck, you know, when you start a project like this, where do you start? I know how I want it to finish and how I'm going to do a lot of the build process, but you know, there's the demolition that, you know, there's things I got to do first. Like get that upper bunk down. I got to tear these cabinets down. I've got to get the mattress down below out. I've got to get the tray the mattress sits on out. There's a lot of other stuff that has to be done. I've got to get my windshield, my passenger side windshield replaced tomorrow. So you can see right there, nice crack in that windshield. Luckily my insurance gives me 2 free windshields a year. And believe me, I use them. So I'm going to get that done at Safe Flight tomorrow, then come back home and try to continue the demolition. So I have opened all the boxes of all the stuff, all the toys, the Clutch Trucker toys that are going to be used to make this whole project work. So I've got some video of all of that. Okay, there's my Thetford cassette toilet. You can open it up, there's the lid, and there's that's the bag that has the cap for the cassette part underneath. When you use it, you open that little switch, and that opens down to the cassette tank below. Then of course you flush, and it'll put fresh water through there and flush it down. Then you close that valve again. Now this side is what goes against the wall on the inside of the truck, and then you have a door, access door right there where I showed you, that you get from the outside. And so from outside the truck you can pull that out the wall, and then it has a handle, it has wheels on it, and it has a handle that you can fold up. Check this part out. Alright, and then it's like a little, you know, carry-on suitcase. You can roll it around. So I can just roll it in with me when I go in to take my shower, and I can dump that black cassette tank. You fold the little tube up, it'll have a cap on it, of course, and you take that off. Then you press that button right there to release air, so it'll smoothly flow out and won't glug, glug, glug on you. Okay, looking at it again, then there's the 12-volt connection that does the electric flush. There's your connection for your fresh water line coming in. Goes through that hole, and there's space underneath. So your water line can come underneath over to that side, which, if I can get it to show, right there. And then also, there's enough room there, I'm going to be able to run my wires for my inverter underneath that into my cabinet for my sink. And speaking of my sinks, that's coming up. Right now, here's the pump that's going to run water to the toilet and to my sink. I can't pull it out with one hand. There's some fittings and an aerator, a strainer on there. And then here's some of the tubes that came with my tanks. I'll use that small one to connect to the pump with the fittings that came with it right here. And you can see that fitting goes right in there. Then it goes into the pump to pump the fresh water, out of which one of these tanks will hold. I've got one for a freshwater tank and one for gray water. Here's the great little sink I found off Amazon. It's a real metal sink. It's only 7 inches wide, 14 inches long, so it's going to fit perfectly in the space between the toilet and where I'm going to build my new closet. There's the strainer that goes down in the bottom part right there. And on the bottom side, it's got the quick spin-off connect, which I'll be able to use to connect to my hose that'll drain from there, and that'll drain into my what'll be my gray water tank as my holding tank for the water coming down from the sink. Here's the access door from Thetford. It's still in the box. I did pull it out and look at it. That goes on that back side in the wall. Here's my diamond plate box. I've got 2 of them. This is how it's going to look. It's going to be set up upright like this on the back wall of the cab below my extension. And it's a nice box, and I'll put a shelf in there because I'm going to use it in this direction, up and down, so I want to get most of the use out of it by putting a shelf in there. Okay, right here, these are the 12-volt heating pads, essentially, is what they are, for the water tanks. And the water tanks are 7 inches wide by 9 inches tall by about 24 inches long. And as you can see, the pads I bought fit perfectly underneath the tanks, and each one has their own pad, and you can see all the connections for the fresh and gray water tanks. Now you can see here's inside. You see up there on the upper bunk where I pulled off that vinyl, button vinyl already. That came off pretty quick, had those little connectors on there holding it on. As we pull it down, there's the upper bunk, and you can see the wall, and that's where we're going to be pushing through. Okay, now you can see up there, it's not focusing in very well, but there's that vent up there on the left side, and on the right side we've got a light and a couple of switches. One of them turns on the light up there, the other one is a speaker mute. There's a switch down here that'll be hidden behind that closet though, that also turns on this main overhead light over my head. I'm going to swap that out with the one for the speaker up there, so I can control both overhead lights, this one and the one behind me, from up in the bunk area. And I'm going to follow the pattern of essentially where the vinyl button backing is on the sides there and on the top for the push out. It's going to have to go below the bottom edge of what you see there though, because I need it to come down a little bit more, so the bunk will be at the height, you can say, of about this one right now, here behind my front two cabinets, which of course are going to go away. Got the truck inside the pole barn now. My son had to move his stage. He did a whole Friday Night at Freddy's thing. They built a whole set, and they did a whole thing. His channel is X Blue on YouTube if you want to check that out. So he had to move that out of the way for me so I could get my truck in. Anyway, like I say, this side door here, this is where my water tanks are going to go, my fresh and my gray, and I'll have access here, so I'll put a fill spout up here, and then I'll have a hose that I can drain the gray tank from right there. Bought some boxes at Walmart tonight so I can unload everything out of that and just put it somewhere temporarily until the whole project is done. And again, like I say, coming out the back, about 34 inches up there. And of course then right there, next to the door, which will now access my tanks, right there is where my access door is going to be for the cassette toilet on the outside. It'll just fit in between the stack and that door, so it's going to work out well. Last night I spent a whole bunch of time in here measuring things again and trying to figure out how I'm going to, rig this whole system up that extends out the back so that it'll be supported well, it'll be bolted down well. And without going into further detail now, because I'll just show you as I'm doing the project, it is going to be securely bolted to the back wall, securely bolted to the side walls, where there are places that already have supports and places to bolt things in now. So this whole thing is going to be really, really well supported, and it will be, held up, and it'll be structurally sound, believe me. I've thought the whole thing through. Like I say, my hardest part right now is the demolition, getting that upper bunk down, getting everything out of here that needs to come out so that I can then cut through the back wall. That's the part that's making me the most nervous. I'm probably going to have to go rent a giant cutter that I have good control on to cut. I'll drill pilot holes around the edge first so I know where to go. And like I showed you, I'm going to kind of follow that inside frame of where that vinyl is on the back wall. It's just going to go further down. But just cutting through the wall is the part that's going to make me the most nervous. Once I get past that part, I think everything else is going to go pretty smooth. I do want to show you, for those of you who've been following my channel for a long time, remember I told you this happened back in January. Our truck right there, it got stolen from the Denver airport, from the parking at the Denver airport. It was just insane. They did mess it up quite a bit. They had to put a new bumper on the front. They stole the topper off the back. They busted, of course, the door handle. They busted the ignition on the steer column. They bolted out a couple of the tires, obviously hot rodding it around. But, we got it back. So we got to be thankful that we at least got it back. It's a 2000 F350. So it's a 21-year-old truck, but it's worth more to us than, a I'm sure what its value is, because, you know, we haul stuff around in there, and it's got 4 doors, and everybody can get in it. So we're just thankful we got it back. And that new topper looks good, doesn't it? So like I say, this is just the beginning. Like I say, I'm kind of just in the very, very early stages. Just pulled that vinyl off of that thing, and I just got to try to figure out now how to get that unbolted. I think it's bolted to the walls near the back wall on a hinge system. And I think I'm going to have to fold it down, climb up in there, and try to unbolt it that way, and then see if I can just move that thing out of there. Then how do I get it out, through the doors? Well, that's going to be another thing. We'll see. But that's where I got to start. And like I say, then I got to cut through the wall, and then that's going to be the hardest part. And then from there, building everything is actually going to be fairly easy. I like building things. I like designing things. I've got it pretty much all planned out in my head, how I'm going to do the whole thing with the steps and the landing and rebuilding these cabinets. And I've even got a great plan for the doors. I went to Lowe's last night and found some lights I'm going to wire up that are going to look really good. I found some industrial carpeting that's going to replace what's down here and going to go up the steps. That's going to look real nice. I found a panel that might work for the inside of my doors to give them kind of a little texture for my cabinet doors, my closet doors, and so forth. You saw the sink and everything. The only thing I didn't show you was the faucet that's going to go behind the sink. It's just a cold only, just a simple little faucet fed by those water tanks and everything. So real excited about it. We're just in the early stages. Just keep watching, because I'm going to be documenting this whole process, so you can ride along with me, go along with me as we remodel this Freightliner Coronado sleeper into something that's going to be real nice, baby. Thank you. Well, ending now without Rusty, because he's in the house. But thanks for tuning in. As always, please subscribe. Please like and comment if you'd like to. I get to your comments. Sometimes takes a day or two. As I always say, because I'm a working truck driver, now I'm a working truck remodeler. So, but I'll get to them here as I go along, all right? Don't forget about Clutch Trucker on Instagram, Clutch Trucker on Twitter. I did post a photo on Twitter of the freshly groomed Rusty. They did a really good job down there at the PetSmart in Greeley. So I guess that's all I got to say for now. As always, sniff that magic YouTube fairy dust. Clutch and a sleeping Rusty inside. Out. So is there anyone that loathes the very core of you? Everybody hates me. I'm an IRS agent. But I did just start auditing a woman who told me to get bent. Well, that sounds promising. Try to develop that.